Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show, presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. It's wonderful to have you along for the ride. Despite the ride sucking, when we talk about the Phillies, you gotta, if you're gonna win the first round series, you gotta be a pretty hot baseball team. And we know that the Phillies have been anything but that, unfortunately, including dropping 3 of 4 to the Mets in their final series against the Mets of the regular season. That put an awful taste in my mouth. I don't know about yours, but I know none of us were like, "Ooh, this Phillies end of the season is delicious." No, none of us felt that way. So here is the early playoff exit. Here is one playoff win. And in that decisive game, what was decisive for the Phillies, decisive game 4, you had 2 hits by players not named Nick Castellanos. 2 hits in that series, in the final game of the series. 2 hits. Casty came through in this series. We'll go over the numbers because they're just god-awful embarrassing. We'll let you hear from Rob Thompson. I don't think Rob Thompson's getting fired, by the way. I don't think that's happening. Kevin Long, the hitting coach, he might get canned. I know that Bryce Harper likes him, so that's probably the best feather he has in his cap in that regard. But ultimately, hitters got to hit, man. Hitters got to hit. We learned this lesson last year. Remember when we learned this lesson? When they didn't hit, and we're like, oh, this should really hit, and they didn't, and they lost. Well, the Phillies in this series, they didn't hit, and they lost. After game 1, I was like, it's over. It's done. It's done. I'm glad they won game 2, so they didn't get swept. Just like literally the only victory we have is that Mets fans can't say, they swept your ass out of the playoffs. Okay, good. They can't say that. But here's where I was last night after everything went down. And I've never been like this. And I wasn't like this at the Eagles collapse last year. I wasn't like that when the Sixers lost to the Knicks. And somebody accurately pointed out on the postcast last night, at least the Sixers fought. Like the Sixers put up a fight against the Knicks. And that's true. They did. But I felt like this. I didn't feel like it after they lost to the Knicks. I felt like it after the Phillies lost to the Mets last night. And I'll tell you what it was. This is the feeling I had. At least they don't have to celebrate, or they don't get to celebrate on Citizens Bank Park's field. I don't have to watch the Mets celebrate on our field. That was the feeling I had. So the thought I had. So the feeling was relief. I have had such little confidence, especially after game 1 of this series, where you faced a bullpen game and a guy that pitched once this season. He went up against a Cy Young contender, and the Phillies bats were like, we got nothing. Yeah, okay. So I didn't have a lot of confidence after that. I didn't have a lot of confidence going into it. All right, maybe barely enough to think, okay, the Phillies can win this series. All right, I thought they'd win in 5 games. But I was in a position where even if they won last night, let's say that 1-0 lead holds up. Let's say Carlos Estevez does his job and they win and then they come back. I didn't have confidence the Phillies were going to beat the Mets 2 games in a row, even with Zach Wheeler on the hill. And why was that? Bats, baby. That's why. I have never had a feeling of we have been put out of our misery, and also the relief of not having to watch another team celebrate on our turf. Like I said, we'll let you hear from Rob Thompson. We'll let you hear from Bryce Harper. All in all, the Mets did exactly what the Mets wanted to do against the Phillies. And the Phillies didn't really put up much of a fight as far as doing anything else. It took them, till game 4 to start having consistent, decent at-bats. But again, chase rate off the chart for this Phillies team. Absolutely embarrassing for this Phillies squad. JT Realmuto, non-existent. We'll get to it all. But first and foremost, I want you to hear from Rob Thompson after the game on his disappointment.
Very. And it always is, especially when we got off to the start that we got off on. So, yeah, it's disappointing. But the thing that's not disappointing is the character that's in our room, the professionalism, the way they go about their business, the way their work ethic. And that's not just the players, but it's also the coaching staff, support staff. We have a really great group. We got beat in a short series.
If it was a long series, it would have been quick too. Hey, look, talking about the character of your clubhouse, that's great. That's wonderful. But Rob Thompson, that would have been the hitting. What happened to the bats? Marcus Hayes, Inquirer.com, asked that question after the game.
Yes, the bullpen might be some of its execution, maybe some of its being familiar with our guys. Don't know. It should work both ways, though. But, as far as our offense is concerned, I thought the Mets did a really good job on us. I thought we had pretty good at-bats today and not much to show for it, but we had a couple of opportunities, and Quintana pitched pretty well. But, offense comes and goes, and it's hard to explain, really.
Offense comes and goes. When is it coming? When do we open the door and be like, hey, offense, good to see you. Come on in. Never? Okay. There were one game in this series. We had some offense. That was fun. Remember when the Phillies were getting on base that one game and they came all the way around. They touched home like more than once. Do you remember that? Oh my God. The memories of that game too. That was great. Rob Thompson admits it should go both ways. They know you, you know them. So maybe you two know each other really well and maybe you hit. Maybe the Phillies have a turn in hitting the baseball. Wasn't going to happen, unfortunately. And although I'm not shocked or surprised that the Mets beat the Phillies by any means, I keep going back, as I said yesterday, I keep going back to that final 4-game series, the final 4 games you faced the Mets. If the Phillies would have won that series, split that series even, you're talking about the Mets possibly not even making it to the postseason. And it's certainly easier to stomach a loss to the Diamondbacks. Maybe it would have been a little bit more tough just because it would have been back-to-back years of losing the Diamondbacks, right? But I go back to that one start by Taijuan Walker. And if you don't start Taijuan Walker, maybe you go with Colby Allard to start the game off or something like that. He goes 4 or 5 innings. Then you give the ball to the bullpen. Maybe it's a different story. We'll never know. But here's what I do know. I would find it difficult to believe that anyone else would have had as bad a career worst start that Taijuan Walker put in there. But all that's revisionist history. And a lot of people like to tell me that there's this switch. Trey Turner before the postseason. Oh, none of it matters during the regular season. You get to the postseason, oh, baby. That's where it's totally different. That's where you get really locked in. That's where you flip a switch. I have told people so many different times in so many different instances, and it's not even like this isn't me patting myself on the back. But, folks, there is no switch. If you are not playing well, you are not all of a sudden going to play well because, the calendar flipped to October. Now I have to pay attention. Now I have to be locked in. Now I have to be focused. You're not going to change. That's the thing about baseball in particular, because it is such a long season. No other sport do you lock into horrible habits like you do in baseball. And if you get into a funk, you got time to get out of it. And I really thought the only way the Phillies were going to have a chance at winning their first round series is if they got the bye. Guys needed to get healthier. Obviously, that didn't work for Alec Boehm. Worked a little bit there for Bryce Harper. But it wasn't working for really anybody else. JT Realmuto was god-awful. We'll get to his numbers in a second. But a lot of these guys were just extremely, goes without saying, disappointing. But I thought the only way they would be able to get somewhat back on track is if they had that week off to go, all right, reset button, rest up, healthy, now we're back, now we're going. And that certainly didn't happen. And if it was going to happen, it was going to happen in game 1 of that series. And they got the leadoff home run from Kyle Schwarber. And then, who is it? Cody Clemens came up. Huge in the clutch when the game was already well out of reach. Overall feeling, obviously, disappointment. Certainly some heartbreak. I'll say this. Regular season records. I love the phrase, you are what your record says you are. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and throw records out the window for a while and just see how a team's playing at the end of the year. Because the Phillies did not put the pedal back to the metal at the end of the year to make me go, World Series team. Definitely. You know what I mean? But when it comes to the regular season, Eagles were 10-1. This is just sports in general. I hate crossing sports, but it feels necessary right now as a Philadelphia fan. Eagles were 10-1. At 10-3, they fired they demoted their defensive coordinator and stripped him of play calling. All right. And then they went on to lose 5 of their last 6 games. Cool. This is fun. We're having fun. This is a fun season. All right. And then we know the Sixers got bounced out. So whatever. And then the Phillies, second best record in baseball, best record in baseball for the majority of the season, win 1 game in the postseason. And here's where we're at. Just forget about what they did last night. For the people on the podcast, these are just the numbers from last night, the box score from last night. Forget about what they did last night's game. Just look at the batting averages and on-base percentages there in that column, okay? Look at this. Kyle Schwarber, 125. He actually had a good season batting average-wise. Not so much in the postseason. On-base percentage was 263. Still, in comparison to his batting average, that's impressive. In everything else, it's not, unfortunately. Trey Turner, 0 for 4 last night. 200 for the series. Harper and Castellanos, I'm not that mad. Harper, yeah, obviously, I wish he would have come up with one more big hit last night. Didn't happen. Harper, 333. Nick Castellanos, his second consecutive National League Division Series where he hits over 400. All right, so let's waste that. Thanks. Bohm was terrible. 077. Real Muto. He literally batted nothing. He batted nothing. And people have been, it's on base percentage, it's over 300. Yeah, he batted nothing. Nothing. He didn't get credited, I don't believe, for the RBI that he had against the Mets in Game 2. It was a similar play to last night's game where Mark Vientos couldn't handle the ball, unfortunately, at third base, and a run ended up scoring. But yeah, Real Muto batted nothing. Bryson Stott continued his struggles, although he had the triple. That was nice. He got 182 with a 308 on base percent, OBP. Weston Wilson, I was happy to see him in the lineup last night. Hit the ball hard 3 times, I believe it was. Good to see that at least. Brandon Marsh, 077. That ain't gonna get it done, folks. This is absolutely 100% pathetic. Absolutely pathetic that this Phillies lineup, with all they got going on, couldn't get it done. In terms of the when I say all that going on, the pay scale, these guys are your top hitters. And Harper, okay. Castellanos, great. Everybody else, god awful. That ain't gonna get it done. Yep. All right, let's get to the game itself. So last night, I was absolutely shocked that Ranger Suarez pitched his bottom line, 4 1/3, no runs. Ranger Suarez had not had a scoreless. That was his second scoreless outing since June 2nd. Think about that for a second. He had 5 scoreless against the Marlins a little bit more than a month ago in September. I think it was September 1st. And then he started to get rocked a little bit. Goes into last night's game and pitched himself out of jam after jam after jam. The thing that was crazy was in the first 2 innings of the game, the New York Mets had 6 base runners. They were 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Both those hits, by the way, were infield singles to Alec Bohm. And I don't know what planet Alec Bohm was on last night, but especially the first 2 innings, as far as a fielder went, he was on Mars, maybe. Maybe that's as close as he got to the game last night. But watching all that unfold, he pitched himself after jam after jam. First inning, he strikes out Lindor. Then he gives up the double to Vientos. Then the walk to Nimmo. First and second, 1 out. Alonso gets the infield single. Oh, to Alec Bohm. What do you know? Bases loaded, 1 out. Iglesias strikes out on the curveball. Martinez strikes out on the curveball. Second inning, first and second, nobody out. Strikes out Alvarez. Strikes out Lindor. Curveball. Vientos gets an infield single to who? Alec Bohm. Another bad play. Bases loaded. He gets Nimmo to ground out to first. Harper makes the play on a hard hit grounder. 30 pitches, I believe it was in the first inning. 23 pitches in the second inning for Ranger Suarez. So you knew he wasn't going to go deep in the game. And I'm just terrified of when the bullpen's going to get the call. You know it's going to be early at this point. Terrified of when it happens. And this is my other thing. Even if the Phillies, I got this yesterday, you didn't see it in this game. Even if the Phillies jump out in the first, second, or third inning, finally with some early offense, I had no confidence that Ranger was going to go 6, 7, 8 innings. I had no confidence that the offense was really going to jump out to a lead, like a convincing lead. And then I had no confidence that the bullpen would be able to hold the lead. So anyway, excuse me, the game goes on. Going to the third inning. Phillies go to a 1-2-3 in the third. Ranger Suarez gives up a leadoff walk in the fourth to Pete Alonso. Then he strikes out Iglesias and gets the double play. Turner on the high toss to Stott. Good God, man. Then in the fourth inning, Phillies get on the board. The Phillies, you know what the Phillies did? They scored a run. And they scored it in one of the most pathetic ways possible. I hate to be negative on the one positive, but there you go. Well, Ranger was a positive, still battled through 4 and a third. The term battled, by the way, absolutely applies to Ranger Suarez's performance last night. But last night, Turner goes into the fourth inning there and grounds out to short after working a full count. Nice to see that from him. Harper works a walk. Castellanos goes for the double, gets the double. Second and third, 1 out. Second and third, 1 out. There's two runners in position. Will the Phillies get something going here? Barely. In the most pathetic way possible, Alec Bohm came back from Mars for a second to take this at bat. He rolled over one to third base. Vientos, just like in game 2, couldn't corral it, couldn't bring it in. Even if he did and he fires home, I don't think he gets Bryce Harper. But Bryce Harper scores. The Phillies have a lead. What? Yeah, they're winning. Harper scores. Castellanos takes third on the error. Bohm save it first. So now you got 1 out. Runner on first and third. 1 out. Real Muto, the guy who's batted nothing. That's right, nothing in the series. He flies out to right field. Bryson Stott then flies out to center. That was it. Phillies managed 1 run in that instance. But hey, you got some guys on base. Yeah. 1-2-3, bottom of the fourth inning there for Ranger Suarez. That was nice. Phillies get a 2-out base runner in the fifth with Kyle Schwarber getting hit. And then Trey Turner flails away at a curveball out of the zone, and that was that. Fifth inning, Suarez runs into more trouble. This is where it was done. He gets Nimmo to strike out after he put first and second with nobody out. He strikes out Brandon Nimmo looking at a fastball. Suarez goes out. Jeff Hoffman comes in. Hoffman was up, I think, 3 different times in the bullpen. Each time Ranger Suarez got himself into some trouble, it was like, get Hoffman up. And Hoffman's like, again? Okay, let's go. Hoffman finally gets into the game there in the 5th inning. Strikes out Alonso, looking at a slide. Great pitch, phenomenal pitch. And then Iglesias then grounds out a little dribbler in front of JT Realmuto, who picks it and fires the first, get the third out of the inning. So still, Phillies 1-0. 6th inning, they get out of another jam. Going to the 6th inning, this is where I really thought the Phillies were going to do something. Quintana's at 86 pitches. Bryce Harper leads off with a double to right field. All right, you got a runner in scoring position, nobody out again. Or this time, this time nobody out. Okay. Less than 2 outs, runner in scoring position. Harper's up there. Quintana goes out. They bring in Garrett. Castellanos strikes out at a 3-2 splitter. Bohm walks. He chased a 3-1 sweeper in the dirt. Chased it. Count goes full. He works the walk. I'm not that mad anymore. Real Muto strikes out on a sweeper. Garrett's out. Peterson comes in. He faces Stott. I think this was a situation where Stott was up in the count 2-0. And he rolled over one to first base to Pete Alonso and grounded out to end the inning. So, again, Phillies waste opportunity. 6th inning, Hoffman's pitching again. Ugh. Singles, hit by pitch, wild pitches, runners advancing to scoring position. 2 wild pitches. Bases loaded, nobody out. He gets Alvarez to ground into the 6-2 force at home, so they save a run that way. Now you got the bases loaded with 1 out. Jeff Hoffman was at 28 pitches. I think there's only one instance this whole season where Jeff Hoffman has only gone over 30 pitches. There's one instance. And it was a while back. I think it was June. Maybe it was April, May. No, May. Maybe it was May. Hoffman goes out at 28 pitches. Estevez comes in. Estevez throws a fastball. He throws a slider. He throws a changeup. He threw 4 pitches to Francisco Lindor. Now, I don't know if you were under a rock for a long period of time or anything, but Francisco Lindor is really good at baseball. Francisco Lindor saw 4 fastballs. The 4th one ended up 388 feet to right center field for a grand slam home run. And Carlos Estevez kind of reminded me of, and I know we love Brad Lidge, but he kind of reminded me of Brad Lidge versus Albert Pujols, where he gave up the huge home run and he just kind of squatted there on the mound like, oh, damn it. Maybe mix it up a little bit there, Carlos? He didn't. All fastballs, and Lindor got it. 4-1 in favor of the New York Mets. I was like, when is he gonna burn one? And then I also thought, well, it's not exactly like JT Realmuto's been picking it well. So does he want to put a slider in the dirt and try to get him to swing over top it? He gave him a 4th pitch of the at-bat, was a 2-1 fastball. Wound up as a grand slam. No sliders, no changeups, no tricks, just straight heat. He went up and in. I don't know if that was intentional or not. And then he went low and away. And Lindor said, yep, saw that one coming. Bye-bye. Grand slam. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Let's pause it in that moment. In the 6th inning, I saw the grand slam, and I didn't go, oh, damn it, it's over. I was surprised, like, because I later thought about it. I'm like, why do I not feel like this is just completely over? As pessimistic as I've been, I mean, I don't call it negativity. I don't call it pessimism. You know what I call it? I'll tell you what I call it. Being real. But in that moment, I'm like, hey, you know what? You're going to have the top of the order up. Kyle Schwarber's getting an at-bat in the next inning. Then Turner, Harper, Castellanos. Castellanos been your hottest hitter. And then, Realmuto certainly do because, he's hit for nothing in this series. So they're going to do something. Let's go. And then I was like, wow, I'm surprised I'm as optimistic as that, but whatever. So Phillies go down after actually Brandon Marsh got an infield single, and then Schwarber grounded into the double play. So that was the 7th inning. 8th inning, Turner strikes out. Harper on 1 pitch grounds out to third. That was his last at bat of the season. Castellanos gets a single to left field. All right, 2 outs in the inning. Let's do something here. Alec Boehm steps up to the plate and hits a fair ball that was ruled foul. He hits a fair ball, but it was ruled foul. I don't know how that's not a reviewable play. Also, he should have been ejected for drawing the line in the dirt. I don't know how he wasn't, but I thought the umpire showed great restraint. Thank you for not doing that. Boehm has had he's been terrible ever since he came back from the hand injury. He said after the game 2 things interesting. One, that he knows where he's going to be next year. I assume that's here. And also he said that he doesn't think it's the hand, but he knows he was a different player when he came back. Pretty terrible. So that was that. That was that for the Phillies. They again put 2 runners on in the 9th inning, and then they got nothing going after that. 2 on, nobody out, couldn't do anything with it. Bryce Harper after the game.
Yeah, didn't finish the job. That's a really good team over there. They played well this series. They pitched well, hit the crap out of the baseball, time of hitting, everything you want to do as a playoff team. So the Mets had a great series.
World Series 2 years ago, Game 7 LCS last year, now this. What does this team have to do to get over the hump, and do you think these are the guys that do it next year?
It's got to be better. Got to finish the job. I mean, obviously, we got a great group of guys in here. Got a really good core. Just wasn't able to get the job done.
From the inside, how do you guys have improved in your win total each of those 3 years, but the postseason exits have been earlier. How do you process that from the inside? I know it's fresh.
I mean, every loss is kind of the same, man. Anytime you lose and don't finish the job of a World Series, it's the same. If it's the next round or the World Series round, it all feels pretty similar.
Sound courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia. Just didn't get the job done. You remember the 2007 Phillies? They made the playoffs finally, bounced out in the first round against the Rockies, win the World Series the next year. Then they go back to the World Series. They lose the World Series. Then they go back to the NLCS. They lose the NLCS. Then they go back to the NLDS. They lose the NLDS. Hey, bing, bing, bang, boom. Just kept on getting worse. These are steps backwards. This isn't supposed to happen. Yeah. This Phillies team is doing the same thing. And when I look back on this season, I mean, I think about this. You had an opportunity to get better. And Dave Dombrowski at the deadline said, no one's coming to save you. This is up to you guys. I'm going to try to help the bullpen. I'm going to bring in Carlos Estevez. Fail. I'm going to try to help the outfield. I'm going to try to get a bat that will do some good things for you, Austin Hayes. Fail. And look, even before he had the infection, the kidney infection, dear God, oh my God, it was bad, terrible. And the Phillies like, you just watch him hit right-handed pitching. I'm like, he didn't hit right-handed pitching. Whit Merrifield, fail. When you think about the dwindling talent or results, I should say, the steps backwards, what did Dave Dombrowski do to make this a better baseball team? So you knew your hitting wasn't good enough to beat the Diamondbacks last year. Okay, you got bounced out, 1 win shy of the World Series, as we well know. So you went into the offseason and you went, I know what's going to go down here. Whit Merrifield. That'll be the difference. You brought back Aaron Nola. You brought back Zach Wheeler. You signed them to some nice money there. Okay, fine. But you had them before. What was the difference maker you made in this offseason? Whit Merrifield? Okay, fine. That didn't work out. What else you got? What else you got? Oh, you got what do you got there? Oh, you got Carlos Estevez and you got Austin Hayes. Carlos Estevez gave up a grand slam. And Austin Hayes did not play in the deciding game. Your better option was somebody you already had on the roster in Weston Wilson. Cool. So this offseason, plans, changes, anything? Do something different? Maybe get somebody else to come in here. Maybe, just give me a slap hitter. I don't even know who that is yet, but just give me a slap hitter. Just give me a guy I have zero confidence in to hit a home run. Just a guy that I know is going to see 8 pitches at least, and he's going to end up more often than not with a ball in the gap. That's all I need. That's all I'm going to ask for. Basically, Bryce Harper, August and September. That's what I need. A guy that's virtually no power, and a guy that'll just put the ball in the gap and will work it at bat. That's what I need. That's what I need. And you know what? Let me get greedy. A little speed. Let me give me that. But I will say, if there's one guy in particular that I'm most disappointed in, and I understand that injuries play a factor in this, and I know it's a long season, I know he's a catcher, but JT Realmuto batting .000 is atrocious. Absolutely 1,000,000,000% atrocious. I know. Let me just entertain the people that want to say or want to fire Rob Thompson. Don't get me wrong. I ain't happy. I ain't happy with Rob Thompson, but is there a guy that you're going to like? Do you have a guy in mind that you think is going to come in? Because I'll tell you, the only person that really crossed my mind yesterday with the Kyle Schwarber connection is Joe Madden. I don't think he really wants to do anything. He didn't who's going to be the guy that's going to come in here and still make Bryce Harper feel like he's running the show? Who is the guy that's going to come in here and get these guys to think better? Who's the guy? I don't think the Phillies fire Rob Thompson. The only thing that makes me think they might is the 3 steps backwards. And Rob's the captain of the ship as the skipper of the team, I should say. And it has not been impressive. But look, I don't care who the manager is. I care about how this team performs and how they hit. And I said this even before Dave Dombrowski said it when he fired Joe Girardi. The manager is responsible for the overall atmosphere and vibe in the clubhouse, and whether or not they promote a winning culture and a winning attitude in the clubhouse. So a lot of that does fall on Rob Thompson. And I know it was the same thing when we said it about Joe Girardi. Is Joe Girardi the guy in the box trying to hit? No, he's the guy managing. But the team got a hell of a lot better after they moved on from him. So, yeah, you make it make sense because I'm going to let you know where you come to, where you eventually arrive, which is this makes no sense, but it worked. That kind of thing. So as I watch this Phillies team and I watch them under Rob Thompson, I do wonder if it's time for a change, but I do wonder who that person is going to be. I don't think the Phillies will fire him. I think the clubhouse still loves him, but you got to hit for the guy. And seeing the last two postseasons end with the team batting under 200, that's not great. That's not great. We'll get your thoughts on this and more coming up in a second. But you heard from Rob Thompson. You heard from Bryce Harper. Another thing that they got into yesterday, Alec Boehm stood at his locker yesterday in the clubhouse and did say that he knows where he'll be next year. I'm a little surprised that a guy who suffered an injury and a guy who came back and was a totally different player since the injury is being like pushed out of town already. People are talking about legacy games with him. I'm happy to give Alec Boehm another shot. I am not pushing Alec Boehm out the door. Did he have a horrendous September? Yeah. Did he have a god-awful postseason? Absolutely. Was, again, he on another planet yesterday? Yeah. But he put a double down the right field line that would have put runners on second and third with 2 outs yesterday. And instead, it was ruled a foul ball. And this is one instance, by the way. So he worked a walk. He actually walked yesterday. He didn't drive in the run. He didn't get credit for the RBI or anything, but at least put the ball in play to score a run yesterday. But maybe it's a little bit different. Maybe it's a lot different today. As far as the view of Alec Boehm, if he actually gets on base in that situation and they don't blow the call. On that note, how did instant replay initially get introduced in baseball for boundary calls? And then you have a fair ball ruled foul and you can't review it because it's on the infield? Huh? How is that a thing? How is that the rule? That's banana sandwich to me, man. That's crazy. But anyway, back to Bo. You could tell how frustrated he was. The camera got the close-up of him in game 3 of him just throwing a hissy fit on the bench. Camera got him yesterday, obviously, throwing the hissy fit. And he was right to be mad. But the 2 plays at third base in the first and second inning, that just made me really question whether or not this guy is really focused on the task at hand. Or if he is just swimming in his own barrel of quicksand right now. His own pool. His own Olympic-sized pool of quicksand. Again, he said that the hand issue wasn't an issue for him. That's not why he struggled. That's not why he wasn't the same player. But a 170 batting average in September. And what was it again in the postseason? 077. Yeah, that ain't going to do it, folks. That ain't going to do it. Exactly. Let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy. Get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Want to go to a Sixers game coming up on the 23rd? Go to the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase. Don't forget to toggle the all-in pricing feature to know exactly what you're buying before you buy it on the Game Time app. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets on the Game Time app. Also, don't forget to toggle the Game Time Picks feature, which allows you to filter out all the fluff and cut right to the core so you see the best possible prices for the best possible seats on the Game Time app. And don't forget the Game Time guarantee. If you find tickets in the same section, same row for less money elsewhere, the Game Time app will refund your account 110% of the difference. So how about that? Let's get into the chat check now, ladies. Oh, first, PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. By the way, shout out to Destiny Luongo, Phillies writer for Phillies Nation. Phenomenal questioning last night of Rob Thompson when it came to Hoffman being up and down, when it came to the team just losing it offensively. Great job by her. So Destiny Luongo there, hat tip from PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. Now let's get to the chat check and see how you wonderful people are doing. It's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday, or as Lil Toots likes to say, is it the weekend? Well, it's Friday tomorrow. She does have an after-school play date today. So she's killing it, man. She's killing it. Let's see here. Elliot Jesser. Good morning, Farzy. Good morning, Elliot. Hello. Go Sixers. This sucks, Farzy. I concur. Tate Jeffries. Hello. Good morning, Farzy. And everyone, good morning. Eagles fan. For once, I'm not late. YouTube does a bad job of sending me the notification when the show goes live. LOL. It always sends me the push notification when it's damn near over. Always good morning, Farzy. Thank you, Eagles fan. Oh, wait. All right. Hold on. Luis Huerta. Did I get it? Do you go Dodgers or Padres? As far as rooting, nobody likes this, but this is what I do. And I can't do that. I do have exceptions. I can't do it for the Cowboys, and I cannot do it for the Pittsburgh Penguins. But the team that knocks you out, I hope they win it all. So I hope the Mets win it all. Good morning, Sean Kilrain. That's not what I... Wait, good morning, everyone. If that's what you want to call it, that's funny. Always another season. Yeah, hopefully. Go Sixers. I've never been a Trey Turner fan. He has no guts, and he wilts under pressure. Ultra Cowboy. First the Knicks. Next the Mets. New York owns Philly. Gee, thanks. Tate Jeffries. Knicks won't touch the Sixers this season. I kind of feel the same way, Tate. I feel the same way. I feel like they got worse. Mr. International, horrible performance. Yep. Ultra Cowboy again. New York Knicks are better than an old injury-prone Sixers team. Yep, it all depends on Joel Embiid, I know. But I got a good feeling about the Sixers season. April. Morning, April. April says, fire Thompson, get rid of Bohm, and find some arms for the bullpen. Look, none of that would shock me by any means, but I would be a little surprised if they fired Thompson. Eagles fan, there ain't no damn character in that clubhouse. Rob is a damn liar. Daniel, hello, good morning. Dodgers, Mets. Morning, fam. Hello. Rest in peace, 2024 Phillies. What's up, Mia Sanchez? Rob Thompson, Kevin Long, and/or Caleb Cotham should all be canned ASAP. Is it also fire sale time? I don't think it's fire sale time. Stop eating cats. I agree. Stop eating our cats. The team didn't want it. Certainly looked like it. Mia Sanchez again. First half Phillies. 1998 Yankees postseason Phillies. 2024 White Sox. Wow. Yuki Matsui. First time Mets and Phillies in October, and the Phillies got spanked. That they did. Send Turner to the moon. Okay. Scott T. This is Manster 1. Excuse me. The Filthies blew it big time. Thank you. In the meantime, make sure you guys hit like and subscribe on the Farzy Show YouTube channel. And make sure you hit notifications. We're supposed to start at 6. I usually start between 6 and 6:30. That's my window. Depending on what technical difficulties I run into that day. Trade deadline acquisition for the first place Phillies. Austin Hayes, Carlos Estevez, Tanner Banks, Seth Johnson, Moises Chance. Hey, you know what? Yeah, that's some good prospects. Time to evaluate the minor talent that's ready, or minor league talent that's ready. Crawford is ready. Thoughts as far as I my hopes and dreams rest in the minors right now, because you're not getting rid of Turner at that contract. You're certainly not getting rid of Harper. Castellanos, you still got one more year after this? No, one more year left. Yeah. Taijuan Walker, you're just gonna have to eat that. Looking like Andrew Painter is doing his thing. Dersh, time to clean house. April, they've gotten worse over the 3 years. Something needs to change. I agree. B. Costello, what's going on? Harper sucks. It's no coincidence the Nationals won the World Series the next year. Yeah, that sucks. I'm still not moving on from Harper. Like, Harper is not my issue right now. Like, nobody else stepping up. Nick Castellanos, nobody else stepping up. That's the problem. Like, even a competent Alec Boehm, a competent JT Realmuto in the box, a competent Trey Turner, they win. Harper is not the guy I'm mad at right now. April, I'm ready to get off the Boehm and JT, or get rid of Boehm and JT. Catchers age quickly. Yeah. Slap hitting third basemen are useless. Thank you, Muted Growl. No, go Padres, his midnight lexicon. Dersh, it's fire sale time. They need a message that if they don't perform, they're yeah. It's fire sale time. They need a message that if they don't perform like they're paid, they will go. I hope so. Yeah, big rhythm. I know it's poetic justice, I guess. The Phillies were the wild card team and they'd go on, and now they're the division winner and they don't. TM 33 and 33 since the All-Star break. You got to be lucky and good to win, says Jeff. Hey, Jeff. Mets are hotter than hot. Don't forget 2008 played Tampa Bay. If we play Boston in the World Series, do the Phillies win then? Oh, God, don't take away from my joy in 2008. And yes, I do, because the Phillies are a team of destiny, baby. Topper should have argued. I agree, Tim. That was disappointing. They didn't go on the field and argue that. That was extremely disappointing. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. My name is Mark Farzett. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. We'll focus on our Philadelphia Eagles. Some great stuff said yesterday by Jalen Hurts. And we'll focus on Eagles-Browns. Thanks, everyone. More of me on Fox 29 today. Have a great rest of your day. See ya. Bye.